In this video, we'll be looking at the matchup between HeartBrokenKid and Cabana. So, if we look at these teams, then the first thing that comes to mind is that the Dialga looks extremely good here. Only really loses the once against Landorus and Mewtwo, and it can actually just two-shield through them, even against the Landorus. Landorus can only reach 3 Rock Slides if the 2 gets shielded, and 1 Rock Slide plus additional mud-shot damage is not enough to take out the Dialga. Similarly, Mewtwo can also only reach 3 side strikes on the Dialga. And obviously, if you shield 2, one of them will not be enough. But in the ones, the 2 side strikes can actually be just barely enough, which is pretty impressive given that they are both resisted, of course. So definitely we'll be seeing Dialga every game. Then I think the Mew also looks pretty okay here. I think it has to run Ice Beam for its root and Landorus, and can then run either Dragon Claw or Dark Pulse, basically depending on which of the 2 of the first picks of Cabana you respect the most. Absolutely no need to respect Magnezone at all here, because that's not gonna have any play against Dialga. Landorus, even though we have seen some brave attempts in previous seasons from Magnezone against the Dialga Landorus team, I'm pretty sure we'll not be seeing that today. Um, and then I think also Landorus from HeartBrokenKid looks okay. And if we're not gonna see the Magnezone and probably also not the Tapu Lele, then suddenly Shadow Gramble also looks pretty okay. Can 2-shield through Mewtwo, can obviously 2-shield Root, can also 2-shield through Reshiram. And Lando, I'm not completely sure. Yeah, pretty much. Well, of course, it can also 2-shield through that if it can 2-shield through Mewtwo. So that can be a good surprise factor. So expect those 4 from HeartBrokenKid. I think Raikou is a little bit of liability with Landorus, Sarut, Reshiram on the opposing side, and Evoluk also struggles against the faster paced Mewtwo. From Cabana's side, we definitely have to see the Mewtwo all the games. Only real answer, and it's not really even a real answer, is the Mew with Shadow Claw, because you can just answer that with Shadow Ball. I think Side Strike Shadow Ball is the way to go there. Then Landorus can be a decent option. Lando mirror match is fairly neutral, and Landorus has the potential to take out the Dialga if the Dialga doesn't 2-shield through it. And then has probably to think a little bit about this Gramble also. So if you bring Root with that, that's going to be pretty tough to handle. So might have to bring the Reshiram. But actually, basically, yeah, mostly expecting the first 4 in this battle. So let's head into the first set, or in the first battle. I'm sorry. Right, we see the Shadow Gramble in the lead against Reshiram. Reshiram, with good timing, should be able to reach 2 crunches, but doesn't try. And instead of going through shield through the Mewtwo, we opt to go through the Dialga here. Probably better to have 2 shielding the Dialga, because the Dialga energy builds up a lot quicker, of course, and can be more useful than Grambles. But staying in and 2 shielding the Gramble was also a viable option there. We match shields. Not expecting a Focus Blast on this Mewtwo. So can let one go, but might shield as well. Frappe Spy is probably Side Strike. And that's the third one. Can let it go. You still have half a Dialga and you have an Iron Head. Now the problem though is we do reach the Shadow Ball, because I think because you swap a little bit on the slower side. The problem now is that the Reshiram can shield and does not even have to shield. Now fully expecting the Reshiram to clean this up. Having no shields against Reshiram is really a tough task to handle, because overheat will definitely take out everything. That's the first. And we see the Lando, and that should be able to reach just 2 of these rock slides. It doesn't, but does not really matter, I think. I think the restaurant should still be fine, although this will be close. Double body slam might just be barely enough if the restaurant does not reach another move. This will be super close. Oh, and what do we see here? Doesn't trust to reach the avalanche. Press the body slam. Fortunate. Avalanche would definitely have been enough, but body slam is also enough. So great first game from HeartBrokenKid. Even though I would have expected the restaurant to clean up, managed to pull ahead with the Avalok, which I also did not expect to see here. But turned out to be a good choice in this first game. Let's go to the second. Now we see the Mew into Landorus. I'm fully expecting Ice Beam on the Mew. So definitely a very good matchup for the Mew. And we have Rock Slide. Of course, that's also a viable option against the Reshiram. And hits neutral a little bit better than Dragon Claw, so also more useful against the Mewtwo. So makes sense. And for some reason, we don't see the shield here. I think this Ice Beam was pretty obvious. Also, the Landorus should have been able to reach the Earth Power as well, so went a little bit over. And now I think this should be fairly good for HeartBrokenKid at this point. Pretty much having 3 versus 2 Pokemon. And also being able to 2-shield the Dialga. I don't see any way you can lose this at this point. I think you just burn your Avalok on the Avalok on the restaurant, or you choose 2-shield already. Yeah, and then it should be game. You can 2-shield both of these. I don't even think you need to throw at this point, but we can try. Another side strike, meaning we will not be shadow balled at this point, so we will definitely be able to reach the 2 moves coming out of this Mewtwo if we double shield it. But at this point it's not even necessary, I think, because even the full health Avalok can also farm everything down at this point. So likely be going to a 2-0 for HeartBrokenKid at this point. Yeah, there's no way this restaurant can take it out at this point. That was a very straightforward matchup for HeartBrokenKid after being able to take out the Landorus without taking any damage from it. Let's see if Cabana adapts and plays a bit better against the Mew now knowing the moveset. This, of course, is one of the reasons why Mew is pretty good in draft. You can surprise opponents even when the moveset can be pretty obvious in my opinion. We move back to the first matchup. I think as the Gramble you either try to 2-shield through it or you try to catch the third on your Dialga. We're opting for the 2-shield. And that's a very annoying swap for Cabana. I also don't really like it because there could also have been a Mew with Ice Beam at this point. Um, as we just saw, the Avalok can take it out. Only have to take one Rock Slide here, so very dominant. One thing to look out for though is that Mewtwo doesn't reach 2 side strikes against the Shadow Gramble, but it can if it farms a little bit against something with lower fast move pressure. We see the same thing as in game 1, pressing the body slam at the point that we reach the avalanche anyway. So that's unfortunate because it doesn't get shielded. Might see, yeah, it doesn't really matter, I'm now thinking. So the play for Cabana now is to swap in the Mew to get a little bit of damage before you play against the Granbull. And try to get your third side stroke, but doesn't manage to pull that off. And Granbull can now charm it down. So that's not the good score. So now we have another 3-0, meaning that we will not be shown the fourth game. I've been told that the HeartBrokenKid also won the fourth game, probably, um, yeah, capitalizing on the pure strength of the Dialga in this matchup and didn't even need to bring the Lando. So that's a very good result for HeartBrokenKid. And let's move on to the last video of this set, Oscar versus Kelsey.